So he's got his mic.
Thank you for rejoining us for the remainder of session 1. Our moderator for this session is Kate Painter.
Thank you so much for coming today. We're honored to have our first speaker, Lou Anderson from Fairfield, Idaho, with his wife Teresa, speaking next. And he is the president of the Idaho Organic Feed Growers Association, which is a very interesting story that I will let him tell. He has been farming organically since 1990. He's on about 6,500 acres near Fairfield and also operates a commercial cow-calf operation. I'll let him tell the rest. Thank you, Lou.
Thanks, Kate. I'd like to engage you folks, and I go to some of these meetings, and my biggest complaint most of the time is that a lot of times the people doing the speaking don't really talk about what I came to hear or what I was interested in. A lot of times they do also, and it's been a nice meeting today. But so I'm going to spend a little time giving you a little background about what I do and what I've done, and then I'd like you to ask me if there's anything that you think I might know that might be beneficial to you or might help you before we get through, so that I can address something that might be of interest. Like Kate said, I've been farming organically for quite a while. I was talking to Bob a minute ago, and I grew my first organic crop was Durham wheat, and we sold it to Justos in Northern California. And he was saying that they had sold their first wheat to Justos Company also. So we go back quite a ways. The area I live in is the Camas Prairie of Idaho, and we're about 5,200 feet. It's colder than heck there in the winter, and the summer is really short. They say it's poor sledding there. It's winter there 9 months and just poor sledding the other 3. So, and sometimes that's the way it seems. So we're mostly grow feed. That area started out to be all summer fallow and winter wheat because the transportation was so poor out of there. In the winter, if you wanted to leave there, you had to go to Shoshone, which is about 60 miles, and get on the train, and then you go to Boise if you wanted to get to Boise from there in the winter. And when they improved the road system, then the people there discovered that we could grow very high quality alfalfa hay. And when they improved the road system, then you could send it out of there, and there was a market for it. And so we went from a winter wheat, and I guess they had experience growing a lot of hay because it froze so often that they cut a lot of that wheat for hay because the wheat froze and sold it for wheat hay. So they already knew about haying, so they found out they could grow dairy kind of hay, so they shipped it. When they got so they could ship it, they shipped it out. And so now we grow very little wheat there, and we grow almost all feeds. We grow alfalfa hay and barley. It's a natural area to be organic. We have very short growing seasons, so our production levels are not very big. So we really don't take much out of the soil. So by rotating crops, we can maintain the soil fertility at the level it's at, and even build the soil some. Almost everyone there was farming organically because it made sense to do it economically, and then when there became an organic market, it was a natural place to go organic and grow organic feed. We have about 60 or 70,000 acres, depending on the year, of organic production in that valley, and we produce probably 70 or 80,000 tons of alfalfa, and depending on the year, we're dry land mostly, so it varies a lot. We grow somewhere between 4,000 and 10,000 tons of organic barley. And you guys that are in dry land areas and grow grain understand why that's such a flexibility, why there's so much change. We had about 5,000 tons of organic barley this year. In the mid-90s, 1996, we were producing organic feed, and there was a marketing problem. There was a disconnect between the dairies that we were selling the feed to and the farmers as far as the money went, and that's a serious problem generally. And a lot of the growers were talking about not continuing to stay in the organic market because of the money. And I laid awake one night, and usually I just lay awake. I usually don't have any great thoughts, but this time I happened to have a pretty good idea. And I thought, you know, there's got to be a way to make this work. It's really a good market, and it's valuable to the area, and it's really helping. There's got to be a way to connect between the growers, and I was one of them, and the dairies. And I kind of formulated a plan in my head that I thought might work. I called a friend of mine the next morning and said, I got an idea. I'm not brave enough to do it by myself. Think about it and let me know tomorrow what you think. He called the next day and said, looks good to me, let's try it. So we formed S&L Commodities. My friend Shannon Wolf and I were partners from '96 until it'll be 2 years this January when he was killed in a snowmobile accident. I'm still miss him every day, and I'm not very happy with him for doing that. But anyway, what we came up with is an idea where we would approach the local growers, and we would pay them and contract with them basically to sell or to find a home for their organic feed. And we didn't do this as a speculative deal. Our idea was that then we would go to the dairies and say, we have this much organic feed, and we think this is the value of it. We would come to an agreement with the dairies, and they would agree to buy it. And so the deal was done, and we were kind of the facilitators. We just kind of put everybody together. But we would take care of all of the paperwork and all of the details for the dairy and for the farmer. And we set it up so the dairy would pay us to do that for them. We also became, as Bob said, don't be a banker unless you're going to be a banker. Well, I guess we became bankers, because that was part of the problem. Is the dairies had trouble coming with the money in a timely manner, and the producers sometimes needed paid in a timely manner, always needed paid in a timely manner. So we agreed to do that. We agreed to basically finance the situation, and they agreed to pay us a fee to do that. So that actually there was no fee to the grower to sell his product. The fee came, our fee, the money we made came from the dairy, from the end user. That's kind of a unique situation. But we were providing a service for them that they thought was valuable enough that they were willing to do that. And what started out as that idea has grown to the fact that and I don't have any numbers, but we're probably the largest organic hay facilitator in the United States, I would guess, or close to it if not. We deal in about 70,000 tons of organic hay, and like I said, organic barley depends on what we can get, 5,000 or 6,000. We're doing way more business than I ever thought that we would do. And it's still the same theory and the same idea, the same practices. Now, if you came in there and looked, we have about 60 different growers that we deal with. Not all every year, but year to year we deal with about 60 different growers. And from the Boise Valley clear down to Cortez, Colorado. We found, and it was interesting, a couple of the other presentations, we found some people that were growing dry beans and wheat in that Cortez, Colorado area that needed a rotational crop to keep their soil fertility up. And they said, if you can find us a market for alfalfa hay, we think we can grow it and we can use it as a rotation to help our main crop, which was wheat and dry beans. So we were able to do that, and so I think we've helped people in that way too. But if you saw our operation, you would think it was a co-op, and a lot of people think it's a co-op because everybody works together there, and all of those growers expect us to find a place to go with their product. And so far we've been able to do that. We've had to, some years we've had to sell some of it on the conventional market, and we've had to expand. And our newest, I guess, market and our best market, our next best market right now is exporting organic forage. And that's something that's really growing. And you guys in this area, part of the world, if you're close to the exporters, we've got to haul the hay. We've got to haul the hay 500 miles to get it to the exporter. You guys are close to it here, and if you could grow export quality alfalfa, organic alfalfa, there's a really growing market for that. That's something and it's going to continue. It's going to continue to get bigger. Our main emphasis is taking care of the domestic market, the people here in the United States, but after '08, when the economy kind of went went to the bottom, as you guys were all involved in that, I'm sure, the organic dairy industry slowed down considerably too. And so the feed that was needed slowed down, and so we needed to find someplace else to go, because if you grow it, it's not like the field of dreams. If you grow it, if you build it, they'll come. If you grow it, they don't always come. So we had to find some other markets, so that's the market that we went to. And it's a good market. It's a growing market. So I would encourage you, if you have some interest in that or ability to do that, and it works as a rotational crop for you or even a main crop for you, that's going to be a good market. It is a good market. It's going to be a better market. And I should have gone to the marketing thing. I really thought that most of the marketing thing was going to be about grains, and we're just kind of a local feed grain source, but I'll try to go to the one this afternoon. If you have some questions, I can maybe help you there. I always think when I think about marketing and putting things together, my father had a unique way of explaining things, and he kept with a little story all the time, and he told me this story a number of times. He said there was an elderly fellow that had lived a really good life and been a good person, and he got to thinking one day, he thought, if I had some more money, I could do more good things, and maybe I could live a little more comfortably. So he asked that he could win the lottery. And he didn't. And then as time went on, he still didn't win, and he got pretty incensed one day, and he was really being pretty vocal about why he hadn't won and why he shouldn't win, and how much good he could do if he had that. And he felt a presence there, and a voice kind of came out of nowhere and said, "Bill, meet me halfway, buy a ticket." And I always, and his point was that if you want something to happen, you've got to contribute. You've got to put something into it too. Wishing or hoping that it'll take place really doesn't do much good. And I think about that with marketing organic products. You have to work at it. You have to do some research. You have to find some good people to help you. And like I said, in our business, we've been fortunate. We've got the greatest bunch of producers I think there are in the world. Maybe there's a better one here. I don't know you guys enough, but we've got a great group of people. We do all of that. We have about a $15 million budget this year, and which is amazing for a couple of country kids. But we do all of that business without any written contracts. We do all that on a handshake. And yes, we have had a couple of hiccups over the years, but they've been small and very few. And I think some other people have talked about that today. It's about trust. It's about trust, and it's about honesty. And I think if you represent what you have honestly, and you're dealing with people that are honest and straightforward. I buy hay from some guys in Cortez, Colorado that I never see. I never see the hay. In fact, I've got a guy there I buy hay from I've never met. But I know, I had a friend of mine go there and look, and I know when he calls me on the phone and tells me, this is what I've got, I know that's what he has, and I can represent that to the dairy accurately because I know that he's going to be honest with me and he's going to be straightforward. And the people that we have in our own area, they just say, you're going to get us the best price that you can, you're going to get us a fair price, something that works. We're not worried about it. You just write us the check when it's over. tell us what it was. And that's the kind of a situation that we've been able to put together there. And I don't think that it's an area that's that unique. I think it's something that could happen any place. It's just a matter of getting people together and getting them on the same page and getting them to work together. And as far as the Idaho Organic Feed Growers Association, it was kind of the political arm of our marketing association, basically. We thought there were some issues, and it always works better if there's 100 of you that sign the letter than 2. And so we put that together, helped put that together, so that if there were issues that involved our part of the organic industry and our part of the organic movement, then we had a bigger voice. And the same people that are involved with the marketing are involved in that. And it's the same kind of situation. We have a meeting once a year. We go over things. If there's concerns, we can address them as a group. Thank you.